Alright, this is Casey, and this is my EII documentaries podcast here, and the 4 documentaries I watched were Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead 1 and 2, Spinning Plates, and Forks Over Knives. And I want to first start out with just saying that I think these documentaries are pretty effective in getting their point across, specifically when they have like a main character you can kind of follow along with. I found that really, at least with me anyway, it helped me understand the what they're trying to get across. But anyway, so the message that we take away from each one of these, in Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, we'll start with that one. I'm going to count those basically as the same documentary, because they're basically the same thing. Slightly different, but the message is that we need to have a plant-based whole foods diet. He does it obviously through juicing, which is extreme. The message to take away is obviously we need the whole foods, and it worked for him. I mean, he lost a lot of weight. Not sure if it's for everybody, but it definitely seemed to work with him. And anyway, so the next one is Spinning Plates. Now, the message we're trying to get from that one is we should, like, food's almost an art. Like when the 5-star restaurant from Chicago they stated that they took 12 hours to make one little bite of food, and it's basically an art for them. And they explain how America has kind of lost the art of food, I guess you could say, because we're always in a rush. We're just going to fast food and just rush. We have no time to actually sit down at the dinner table and have meals anymore. So that was the main focus of that one. And then Forks Over Knives was kind of the similar message to Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, in that we need to start eating more whole foods, and that's the problem with our obesity in this country today. Alright, so how does this relate to, or how do these documentaries relate to their audience? It's kind of along the same lines of the message that you're supposed to take away from this, but the Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, it gives you Joe Cross to kind of relate to, and you can almost like pretend you're him, and you can really see yourself in his shoes, and it's almost like he's not selling anything, but it's almost like he's selling a product to the viewer, and he wants you to try this, and he's done all this stuff online and whatnot. And especially in the second movie, it really shows how he's kind of expanded it instead of just himself, he's trying to help others now, and I thought that was kind of neat. Spinning Plates, it's almost reminds me of like how my parents or grandparents used to do things. Like, you'd always come home and you'd have dinner at the table and whatnot, and it was just a very traditional thing, where now it seems like we're always on a rush and oftentimes don't have time to actually sit down and have meals and whatnot. And Forks Over Knives, it's I had a kind of a hard time relating to that one, just because it didn't have anyone to really pertain to like it did in Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. It's just kind of like a narrated, I don't know, it just didn't do it for me. But I suppose they're trying to kind of make you feel bad, so you'll make a change in your life, I guess. I don't know. How do they relate to each other? I think Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead and Forks Over Knives were very similar, whereas Spinning Plates was more of kind of like a traditional food type deal, where Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead is explaining what's wrong with our food system today. And as far as relating to the book we've been reading here, The Omnivore's Dilemma, I think Forks Over Knives is very in tune with that. It doesn't mention a whole lot about corn and whatnot, but it mentions a lot about animal fats and how they're not the best for us to consume a whole lot of them. Not sure if this is true or not. I don't know, but I have my skepticism. But yeah, that's probably the closest one. And other than that, if I had to pick one that I like the most, I probably like the Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead one. I thought that was kind of inspiring, and I mean, if I were ever to need it or whatever, I might consider it now that I've seen it. I don't know. But something, food for thought, I guess. But anyway, so that's that.